Hey, everybody, my name is Chris Gilmore, WPTV anchor here, talking about car insurance today. I want to first off welcome all our digital viewers. This is on our streaming platforms on Facebook and all our other social media. We're here to talk about a growing issue, a literal growing issue. We're having more people moving to the state of Florida, and that means more drivers on the road. For some of you, that's a headache, but everyone needs to get around somehow. But with that, a lot of people have questions when it comes to auto insurance, and I'm not the expert on that, but I did bring in somebody who knows a thing or two about what you need and what's required. So, as we go ahead and unwrap this conversation, I want to invite you guys to go ahead and leave your comments and questions. We'll answer them to the best of our ability. But now's a great time to welcome in our guest today. We have Michael Westheimer, a trial attorney with GED Lawyers down in Boca Raton. Welcome, Michael. How are you?
I'm well, Chris. Thanks you for having me.
Yeah, and just tell us about your experience as an attorney, what you do on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, thanks for asking, Chris. So basically, I'm a personal injury attorney. Personal injury attorney basically encumbers anything with an injury. It encumbers automobile accidents, slip and falls, premise liabilities, dog bites, aviation accidents, boating accidents. But most specifically, what's prevalent now and has been for many years is automobile accidents.
Are those
Chris, and
probably the most common that you deal with?
yeah, they are just because, just the amount of drivers on the road, car accidents, certainly are the most common we deal with. The second most common would be a premise liability case. And that could be anything from a slip and fall at a department store to a trip and fall on a sidewalk that's jagged. So, but yes, automobiles are definitely the number one.
Okay, and it is. Most people know. I think they tell you when you sign up for a driver's license that it is required that you have automobile accident insurance. What is the minimum amount of coverage you need in the state of Florida? Because I know it does vary what you need depending on what state you're living in. Is that right?
That is absolutely correct. Yes. So in Florida, the insurance law is vastly different from other states. So in Florida, currently, there is only two things that you're required to have. One is PIP, which stands for Personal Injury Protection. That is an amount of $10,000. There's a nuance to PIP where you can have a deductible or no deductible, as well as having what's called resident relative included, as well as work loss, all of which I can explain later if you'd like. The other requirement is what's called PD, property damage. That's in the amount of $10,000 as well. People get confused between what's property damage as opposed to comprehensive and collision insurance. So property damage basically is you're protected if you cause any damage to a third party's property. That can be anywhere
So,
from a motor vehicle to a home to a stop sign to a
mailbox or something
guardrail,
like
a
that?
mailbox. Correct. And that's the property damage. Now, like I said earlier, the bare minimum is $10,000. I would certainly suggest more because in today's day and age and inflation costs in 2021, maybe if you hit a mailbox, you'll be within the 10,000 limits. But oftentimes it could vastly exceed 10,000. And if that's the case, you'll be personally responsible for any damages that exceeds the $10,000.
They call them accidents, Michael, because they are accidents. I don't know how there are cases where people intentionally, crash into somebody, but it's not that common. So I'm sure you deal with that a lot. And I'm looking at some facts right now that say that Florida is among the top 5 states when it comes to fatal accidents. Obviously, what should you do if you find yourself involved in an accident? What's the recommendation?
Sure. And, you make a very good point. As of now, from today's date, 2021, and I'll give you the exact date, as of May 27th, pursuant to the Florida Highway of Motor Vehicle and Safety of Motor Vehicles, there has been 70 fatal crashes, including, total of 74 fatalities. So what that means is, there's 70 crashes, but unfortunately, there may be multiple fatalities involved in that accident. We always recommend after the accident occurs, certainly we would suggest that you first make sure that everyone's okay. That's the most important. And call the police and or the ambulance, via 911. Definitely take pictures of the accident if you are able to do so, as well as, certainly we would recommend you call an attorney, just because there are a lot of nuances involving automobile accidents and insurance companies. And, there's certain things that may need to be done in order for you to, successfully, proceed with the case. And that's why an attorney would be better suited to answer any of your questions regarding an automobile accident.
Perfect. Speaking of questions, we have some popping up in the comment section right now for our viewers who are watching live. I want to hit up, we have Janet here saying the limit minimums need to be increased in the state. $10,000 covers nothing. I can kind of sympathize with that. I mean, when you take your car to a body shop, even if you have a fender bender, that's going to cost a pretty penny. And then that's not even taking into account the damage to the other person or other parties involved. What's your recommendation? I know you can't talk about necessarily the increase of cost of premiums and minimums and things of that nature, but how
Sure.
quickly can those costs, balloon?
Janet is spot on, and I believe that that people should have an increased limits. Now, we always tell people that $10,000 is the minimum. And some people may beg to differ, but just because it's the minimum doesn't necessarily mean that's what you should have. So I believe you should have more. When you lease a vehicle, you're required to have a much higher limit than the $10,000. So yes, the $10,000 can be exhausted very quickly, because if you get into an accident and cause damage to multiple vehicles, that's $10,000 is going to be gone before you know it. And in South Florida, we have either the luxury or lack thereof of having very nice vehicles on the road. And you rear end a Ferrari or a Bentley. Those sensors alone is going to cost thousands of dollars. So Janet is correct. $10,000 is the bare minimum, and I would suggest, I always suggest whatever you can afford, whether it be $25,000, $50,000, or even up to $100,000 in property damage would be more adequate.
Thomas, another commenter here brings up another point, asking, why am I required to purchase personal injury protection if I have health insurance?
And that's a great question too. So several years ago, Florida enacted a statute that required you to have PIP. Not every state, and I'm not going to speak on other states because that's not where I'm not licensed in other states. But in Florida, it's just legally required to have PIP. It's people that had health insurance have that same gripe. And not to get into the politics, but currently there is a bill on the floor right now that was passed by the Florida Senate and House. It just hasn't got to the governor yet, that may abolish, meaning get rid of PIP and require you to have bodily injury insurance. But in Florida right now, Thomas, specifically, if since you have to have PIP, PIP is primary. So if you get into a motor vehicle accident, the first $10,000 gets paid out by your automobile insurance. And if and only if you have health insurance, they come in the back end and pay the remaining bills, if it's under your plan, of course. Specifically with the deductible, that's similar to health insurance. If you have $1,000 deductible and you go to the hospital and you have an $8,000 bill, they're going to pay $7,000 because the first $1,000 is your responsibility as a deductible, and then your health insurance pays the remaining. So what Thomas says is something that people have argued and debated about a while, and that's kind of why it's been on the floor lately. But unfortunately, even if you have a health insurance, PIP is required.
Okay. What trouble are you running in on both sides of the podium here if you are involved in an accident with a party who is uninsured? I know that's a big problem. A lot of uninsured drivers on the road here in the state of Florida.
Yeah, absolutely, Chris. And I'm not certain on this, but I believe Florida has the highest amount of uninsured drivers in the country. So with that being said, in Florida, we're only required to have PIP and property damage. So what that means is if you get into an automobile accident and you don't have what's called uninsured motorist, which I'll explain in a moment, and they don't
Well,
have bodily.
first off, Michael, it's illegal to drive without auto insurance. Is that correct in the state of Florida?
Absolutely. That doesn't mean people don't do it. Many people do it. There's also been schemes out there where people will actually get auto insurance. They'll get the cards emailed to them very quickly, and then they cancel it right away. Now, they don't. If that card is printed, there's no way to show that it's not valid unless you call up to verify that it's still valid. So there have been people that not only will make their own fake cards, but sometimes they'll buy a policy, cancel it just to get the card. So yes, Chris, it is absolutely illegal. You are legally required to have the bare minimum, which is PIP and PD. But ultimately, there's a vast majority of drivers that don't have either. And if you don't have uninsured motorists, then there's the only recovery you can get is going after that person personally. Now, most people that don't have insurance, I don't want to generalize, but they tend not to have a lot of assets. So yes, you're legally entitled to go after that individual personally, but are they collectible? And that's the issue.
Right. Thomas bringing up a good follow-up point here. Having the PIP as primary, it only hurts him because it takes longer to meet his deductible on his personal health insurance. What's your response or comments to that?
Yeah, Thomas is right. Obviously, you may have a deductible on your health insurance. Now, I'm not going to go into the nuances on health insurance law, but you certainly are entitled to have health insurance with no deductible, or some people have a high deductible of $8, $9, $10,000, which we refer to as catastrophic insurance. So that is accurate. But believe it or not, you go to a hospital and you have to get any kind of CAT scans or MRIs or any kind of extreme testing, so to speak. That $10,000 will be gone before you know it, even before you're admitted.
We all know that too well. I feel like Tessa here is one of those people. People are definitely sympathizing with this topic that we're talking about, auto insurance here in the state of Florida. Come on, guys, if you have any comments, we're here to answer them. But Tessa's saying that you say PIP is required. She said of the topic that we were just getting into before we went to the comments, we just had our car totaled by someone who had no insurance, pretty big problem we've been talking about, or valid license, and that person was let go with no ticket or penalties. Now we have to go to our insurance to pay for personal injury.
Yeah, so Tessa makes a great point, and that just further substantiates what you and I talked about, Chris, is that there's many automobiles in Florida, or not automobiles, rather drivers that don't have insurance. Now, regards to not getting a ticket or penalties, I can't speak on behalf of any kind of law enforcement officers or community service aides. They have the sole discretion on who they can write tickets to. But what Tessa needs to understand is that when you're involved in an automobile accident, your PIP is not only primary, your PIP follows you no matter what. And what I mean by that is it's considered no fault. It's called no fault insurance. And what that means is that regardless of fault, whether you're at fault or not, your PIP covers you. So if I personally got rear-ended by a motor vehicle, by, let's say, Tessa rear-ends me, my PIP would still apply even though Tessa presumably is at fault. So regardless of who's at fault, PIP will always follow the insured or the resident relative of the insured. So that wouldn't matter. But regarding your property damage, if you don't have collision insurance, you're kind of you're out of luck. You'd be personally responsible for fixing your vehicle, because that other person, you could legally sue them, but if they're not collectible, you're kind of out of luck.
Now, Maureen here is bringing up a similar point to Tessa. She's saying that something similar happened to her. She got hit. They ran into the driver, no license or regulations, and they walked away. Again, I know it's discretionary and it's up to the responding police officer or community service aide, but that's part of the reason why you recommended, as soon as you're in some kind of accident, call the police, because typically, I can't say in every case as they're proving here, but somebody usually walks away with some kind of citation.
Sure, and that's a good point, Chris. And I sympathize, Maureen, and I'm sorry you had to get involved in that accident. I all too often I've heard someone not have a license or proper registration. They walk away, quoting you, free as a bird. But that doesn't always happen, and I always tell clients this, and I try to say, for what it's worth, it made me sleep better at night. These insurance companies have deep pockets, and what I mean by deep pockets is, they have a lot of ability and assets to pursue claims that certain other individuals may not. So Maureen, in your case, if you have proper insurance, and what I mean proper, not the legally minimum, but if you have comprehensive, collision, bodily injury, all of those good things, so to speak, your insurance company would pay for your vehicle minus your deductible in your collision. Your deductible could be zero, or it could be as much as over $1,000. I always suggest clients, if they can afford it, $500 is kind of the sweet spot. That's usually the easiest to give up on, $500. And very quickly, what that means is that if you If your vehicle has $5,000 in damages, your insurance would pay $4,500 and you would pay the $500 difference. But what I want to reassure you, Maureen, is that oftentimes insurance companies that pay out on behalf of you, that you're not at fault for the accident, they will go after that other individual. We've had clients come to my office that say, hey, I'm getting sued by State Farm or Allstate or Progressive, that, I'm getting sued for $10,000 because that's what, the other person's insurance had to pay out. So I don't get away with the slogan I like to use, scot-free, but it is upsetting. And that's why I always tell people, you got to look out for yourself and get proper insurance, which, Chris, I'm happy to explain what I suggest insurance
Yes,
coverage should be.
that's circling back to a few points, but I know you were talking about getting into a very valuable thing to have as a driver, especially in Florida, as you mentioned, which is the uninsured motorist coverage. What is that, and how important is it?
Right. So uninsured motorists, the one thing now there could be a plethora of nuances, but what I want to tell the viewers as well as you, Chris, is that the only way you can legally obtain what's called uninsured or underinsured, so uninsured or underinsured motorists, which is short for that prevents or protects you if the tortfeasor, and the tortfeasor is a legal term for the person at fault for the accident, that if they either don't have enough insurance or not insurance at all. But the nuance that people have to understand in Florida is, in order to get or obtain uninsured motorist coverage, you have to have bodily injury coverage. To expand on that, not only do you have to have bodily injury coverage, your coverage cannot exceed the limits of your bodily injury. So very briefly, Chris, if you had insurance and you had the minimum, which is PIP and PD of 10,000, and you said, you know what, times are tough, I gotta save some money, but I still want to be protected, I'm going to get bodily injury of $10,000 because that's the minimum you can get a bodily injury, even though it's not required at the moment. But let's say you get $10,000 in bodily injury. The most you can get in is $10,000. If you want to get $100,000 to protect you even more, your bodily injury protection will have to be $100,000. Now, to end on this, can be less than BI. It just can't be more than bodily injury, if that makes sense.
Gotcha. So it's a numbers game there. You have to, again, go to an insurance expert or maybe get a recommendation from a legal expert such as yourself.
Sure.
I also saw a comment here about what if you're driving a car and you're not covered on the insurance by the owner, but there is insurance on the vehicle. I don't know if we could pull that comment up.
Yeah, I can, what a lot of attorneys such as myself say, and I apologize for the viewers because I know no one likes to hear it, says it depends. And it really does depend because, there's that in and of itself, I need more information. And what I mean by that is,
Right.
you say, what are you, I don't know if you're referring to, will you be covered under PIP?
It's Kathleen Brown here. Kathleen mentioned, will you discuss the risks of letting another person drive your car or you drive someone else's car?
Kathleen, that's a great question, and that's something that people need to understand. So Florida has a doctrine called the dangerous instrumentality doctrine, and all those fancy legal terms basically means that in Florida, if you let another person drive your vehicle, not only is the driver personally responsible, but you as the owner is. And it could be as crazy as, Kathleen, you could be saying, hey, COVID's done, I'm ready to get out. And, not COVID's done, but, it's getting better. I'm going out, I'm going to Barcelona to go party. I'm going to let, my neighbor borrow my car. They can get into an accident, even though you're not even in the country. You are still legally responsible for your vehicle pursuant to the dangerous instrumentality doctrine. So, I would, if you have coverage, luckily you'd be protected up to the amounts. But yes, you will be responsible for someone else's negligence if you loan your vehicle to someone else.
That's a good point. Good point. Any other of the points that you brought into the discussion that you deal with on a regular basis as it pertains to auto insurance that you want to make sure we get covered here? I'm
Yeah,
seeing
absolutely.
comments come in as well, but I was curious what you wanted to unload.
Sure, Chris. And yeah, I'll briefly say, and I think I emphasized this a little earlier. Florida is, if not one of the largest amounts of not insured drivers in Florida. I mean, in the United States. So I would certainly recommend uninsured motorist. So uninsured motorist protects you if you're not negligent. So the key word is you can't be at fault if some injury occurs to your body, your person. But like I said earlier, you have a bodily injury. So all too often, I'll talk to a prospective client and they'll say, "Hey, I have full coverage." And I say to the, client X, I say, "Well, listen, full coverage doesn't necessarily mean anything. Full coverage, technically, you can just have PIP and PD. That's what's required." They're like, "Oh, well, I have bodily injury." Well, bodily injury only protects you from your own negligence against someone else. So let's say you don't cause an accident, Chris, and you get rear-ended by myself, and you have bodily injury of $10,000, you're like, okay, great. If I, at least I have $10,000 protect me. Well, it's not the case, Chris. Your would be only the one to stand in the shoes of the at-fault person. And again, you have to have bodily injury equal or more than what your coverage is.
Okay, here's another good point on the topic we were talking about the instrumentality clause you were talking about. April asks,
Sure.
she says that she's the guardian of her quadriplegic niece and her aides drive her all the time. Am I responsible? And I saw another comment here from Maria, who's apparently in the insurance industry, and she says PIP follows the person, not the car necessarily.
Yeah. So to go for the first part, and obviously, I'm sorry, obviously the issues you have to deal with your niece, April, and I can't tell you with complete certainty without reading the policy language and the facts surrounding your what we call fact pattern. But yes, presumably your aide, if they get into an automobile accident in your vehicle, you are still responsible pursuant to the dangerous instrumentality doctrine. So I would certainly suggest either you can add her to the policy or have her drive her own vehicle. But yes, you would be responsible unless there's certain nuances. And forgive me, Chris, I think it was Maria that said about PIP.
Right, and that's kind of situational too. And this is where I can somewhat speak from experience. Working for a company, we drive around, marked vehicles and
Sure.
things of that nature. Those are insured by the company, and in order
Mm-hmm.
to drive them, we have to go through all kinds of testing and show our proof of insurance and driver's license and take competency courses before we are allowed to get behind the wheel. So I don't know if that factors into anything at all. But
Yeah, Chris, a lot of times that factors into commercial policies. They make you, for them to insure a certain amount of people, they want to make sure that how to drive and you're a cautious driver. But Maria is accurate. PIP follows the person. There's a plethora of nuances, which I'm sure Maria understands too. So yes, presumably PIP follows. So what that means is, if I was in the vehicle with you, Chris, and you get into an accident, regardless if you're at fault, your PIP will pay for you, but my PIP through my own insurance company would pay for my PIP benefits. So yes, it does follow you. Now there's certain nuances that's most common that's saying, hey, with Maria probably had clients like this say, hey, well, either I don't have money or, I don't own a vehicle and I live by myself. I live in a condo by myself. I live downtown. I live in downtown, West Palm. I'm able to, enjoy all the new streetscapes on Clematis and all that stuff. I don't need a car. So I'm in the car with Chris and I get into an accident. What do you do now? Well, you have to look at certain factors and there's different prongs where you say, well, does that person own a vehicle? If not, then okay, you go to the next person. Do they reside with a relative or a resident relative, whether it be a step parent, a brother, sister, a mother, father? If they do, their PIP would most likely cover them. But let's say, Chris, you live downtown off Clematis and you're enjoying, not having a car payment and dealing with all those nuances, and you get into an automobile accident. If you don't live with anyone that has car insurance, you don't own a vehicle, then the PIP would apply with the person driving that vehicle. So even though PIP always follows you, there are nuances if you don't own a vehicle, or if you don't own a vehicle but live with someone that does, then maybe their PIP would apply for you. But Maria is accurate for the most part.
so I know you can't recommend necessarily what people should purchase on their insurance plans, but is there an importance or is there a value in adding, even if it's somebody like an aide, as April was talking about, adding them onto your insurance coverage as somebody who will be driving your vehicle when you're not present?
Yeah, and that's very important because ultimately insurance company they're a business, and I'm not I don't want to speak badly about insurance companies, but insurance companies they're all basically all their actuarists doing actuary different numbers. They're in it to make money. It's a for-profit company. They're not looking to be altruistic and say, hey, you took out $100,000 policy. Where can we overnight the check? So what I would suggest people have is what I would call full coverage, which is not only PIP and PD, which is statutorily legally required. I would recommend you have everything, and that is comp, collision, bodily injury, as well as and car rental. And Chris, I could do this for days, talk about all these nuances. But if you want me to explain the difference between comp and collision, I'll certainly do so. But I use the term car rental because oftentimes I've had hundreds of clients in the past. I've represented, I would say, thousands of people in my career thus far, and I've been practicing for about 10 years. But a lot of times people get into an accident and they're like, the other person doesn't, they don't have car rental. And I don't have car rental in my policy. What should I do? I don't have a car for a week. I need to get around. And I say, you know what? You're kind of out of luck. If you don't have coverage for your policy and they don't have rental policy on their policy, you're responsible for obtaining another vehicle. So what I would recommend, Chris, to say it shortly, is that not only do you get PIP and PD, but get comprehensive collision, bodily injury, and The only
Yep.
time I
Sometimes
wouldn't,
you learn that the hard way. But
and you do, and the only time I would tell clients or potential clients that collision is not necessarily super important is that if an individual is driving a very old vehicle that is worth maybe $500 or $1,000, if that's the case, Chris, if you have a $500 deductible and the car's only worth $500, is it really worth paying the extra premium for collision, which only protects you if someone else caused the accident, or I'm sorry, if you caused the accident too? But it's just collision is the only time I would say, hey, depending on the value of your vehicle. But getting bodily injury and I think should be a necessity in Florida. And further, when you lease a vehicle, now Florida has one of the most leased vehicles in the country, because ultimately people can get nicer cars that can't necessarily afford buying one. And some people may ask, well, dangerous instrumentality says that if the owner of the vehicle is also responsible, let's say I lease a BMW, why, and BMW technically has title to it because you're leasing it. Why can't you sue BMW? And that's the question that people ask a lot. And in Florida, they came out with a statute that basically said if you have a certain requirement, which is what we call 100-300. Now, 100-300 basically means if you have at least $100,000 in bodily injury coverage with a $300,000 aggregate for the entire accident, they are not responsible. The lease company, the leasee, is not responsible for any negligence that you cause in a vehicle that they may own as a leased vehicle.
and I'm sure their loophole around that is to require the more than $100,000 insurance policy as the leasing.
Yeah,
That
and that's why oftentimes they'll say, hey, before you leave our premises, we need to ensure that you have the 100-300 we call limits, so that we're not protected. I mean, I can. It's pursuant to Florida Statute 324.021, and
right,
you have
right.
to have 100-300. Now, your property damage only has to be 50,000 or more, but I would recommend doing 100 as well, just because that just is a little extra protection.
Okay, we certainly have a lot to talk about here, but I want to circle back to what you were talking about earlier, the legislation currently in the works. It was when we were talking about the mandatory minimums. Just for those who are joining us, go ahead and talk about the stipulations of that and why that could be important in the future moving on.
Yeah. So what I think you mean is that you want me to explain what the limits are, what the requirements are now, and how can it change?
Yeah, you're bringing up a bill that's currently in the works in Tallahassee that can change what those mandatory minimums are.
Sure. And so right now, and this has been on, quite honestly, on the floor in the past. And when I mean the floor, people use that as a term for, on the, on the, whether it be Senate or House. But basically, right now, you're required to have PIP and PD, and that's it. But what is trying to get passed is that they want to require you to have bodily injury coverage. Now, I'm not 100% certain if it's going to be a minimum of either 25 or 50,000 if it goes into effect. But it's looking like they want to get rid of PIP. They want to add mandatory bodily injury, and there's a thing called med pay as well that they want to, include as well. That there's also nuances where you might be able to waive out of med pay if you can show that you have proper health insurance.
How would that affect the policyholder at the end of the day? Should this pass?
Yeah, and that's a great question. Obviously, I have to speak to underwriters. I mean, and underwriters are basically the insurance agents that have the license to be able to, say what the risk and rewards are of insurance person, how much it would cost.
Right.
People that are trying, the lawmakers that are trying, or lobbyists that are advocating for mandatory bodily injury with an extinction of PIP, they're saying that our policies are going to go down because there's a lot of fraud in PIP and there's a lot of nuances that they have to do to defend PIP. But what I would suggest, if presumably, if you already have what's called full coverage, meaning if you have bodily injury and and all that already, which I believe you should have, it may go down because you don't have to pay for PIP. If you already have health insurance and you already pay for bodily injury and it may go down. But if you only have the bare minimum, then it may go up a little bit. But, unfortunately, I can't tell.
Yeah, and it's case by case. Yeah,
it is. I mean, every 6 months I get my premium renewed, and it goes up every 6 months. And I have not had a single claim on my record for over 15 years rather, but yet it still goes up. So it's all a numbers game. Oftentimes, a lot of times insurance companies say it goes up because all the personal injury protection that they pay out, or uninsured motorist coverage because people don't have proper bodily injury. So they say it may go down, but I think it's to be seen. I mean, I'll believe it when I see it if it goes down.
Right. Okay. Well, lunch break is ending for a lot of the people here. Well, what are some final takeaways, in your opinion, that people should know about as they head out on the road, as they purchase that vehicle and move to Florida? Want to make sure that they're safe.
Sure. Now, there are a lot of people relocating to Florida, rightfully so. We live in a beautiful state and the weather's great, but people moving in from either the Northeast, out west, even to our neighbors up north in Canada, they're moving down to Florida. Now, I can't tell you what each state's laws are, but in Florida, so many people do not have insurance or proper insurance. So I implore people, if it's financially feasible for you, to have uninsured motorists. Now, what I said before is you have to have bodily injury to have uninsured motorists, but the minimum is $10,000 that you can get. So even if you can only afford $10,000, that's still better than nothing, because unfortunately, the amount of clients that I have to call to tell them that there's no case for them, basically we can't represent them because there's just no coverage. And they say, well, I wasn't at fault for the accident. Why should I, be penalized? And I tell them, unfortunately, you look out for yourself and you have to have those coverages. Fortunately, we have reoccurring clients come back, and not fortunate that they get into another accident, but fortunately they come back because they like the service that we provided. And ultimately, the second, third, fourth time around, they'll have the proper coverages because they learned their lesson. But Chris, long story short is, please get bodily injury and uninsured motorists, because not only does it protect you, but it protects protects you if you're at fault, but it also protects you if you're not at fault, if the other person doesn't have adequate coverage.
All right. Thank you for such an informative conversation, Michael. I appreciate it. Thank you all for joining us on the social media side. All your comments, we appreciate it. We see them. Certainly a lot more to talk about. I wouldn't be surprised if this is the last time we see Michael Westheimer's face on WPTV. So
awesome. Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your day, you guys. We appreciate it.
You as well. Be safe, everyone. Take care.